Ladies and gentlemen, today has been a pretty crazy day for crypto. As one of the main things that happened is a presidential debate, but that's not what we're here for today. A lot of meme coins and a lot of cryptos had some crazy volatility based solely on this discussion, but it's not for the average crypto holder that important. No, what was way more important were these two things. Point number one is that even though I thought they basically backtracked out of all of this, we just got ourselves a little notice that the SEC sued Consensys, the company behind Ethereum, the company behind MetaMask, alleging that MetaMask is an unregistered securities broker. And our striker is what I can call it, has striked again, because that obviously is a very ridiculous statement to make. Then again, with their more recent swap feature, I think they have it inside the wallet, there's an argument to be made for it. And I guess it also kind of depends how you see things like bridging. And I honestly don't fully know what type of registrations are necessary generally for these crypto wallets either, because even though I guess the regulations for them are a new thing, they have had to file to be able to hold people's money a long while back, I'd assume. And I mean, Trust Wallet got purchased by Binance years ago, I think, right? Maybe not, but I do believe so. MetaMask has been operating for an extremely long time under, again, a US company, Consensys. But that's besides the point, because Coinbase was in a similar spot. And if you're wondering what exactly the issue here was, it is not as I had expected, where it's mostly about the swap feature. No, it actually says here, Consensys failed to, this is also, perhaps there's more to this, but also failed to offer or register the offer and sale of certain securities through its crypto staking platforms, which allow users to lock up tokens for a certain period of time in exchange for yield. The regulator said in the complaint, which was filed in the U.S. District Court in Brooklyn, New York, that Consensys had collected more than $250 million in fees through its conduct as an unregistered broker. Consensys operates the popular MetaMask self-custodial crypto wallet, which enables crypto owners to store their assets as well as buy, send, and swap. Consensys did not want to respond. In April, they sued the SEC themselves after the firm said it received a formal notice that they were going to bring a big enforcement actions against them. And they said, hey, that's not following the law. You can't do that. But now, obviously, this real lawsuit has come to us, or I should say to Consensys. I don't really work there. And it's quite more peculiar because of this. Consensys said, it feels like last week, but it's almost 2 weeks ago, via a social media post on June 19th, that it had received notice that the SEC had closed its investigation into the company. Still, the company said it will continue its lawsuit in pursuit of a court ruling that the SEC does not have legal authority to even regulate these software interfaces built on Ethereum. And then all changed because the SEC went after them with another angle, which is really quite peculiar. Anyway, to continue on, that was one of the more interesting parts of today. The fact that this lawsuit, the lawsuits, etc., are still ongoing and getting crazier, I guess. It seemed like all was getting better, but it's not. On an opposite side, we also thought that there was a massive case being brought against Solana. There was some rumors of some investigation coming up, or going around already, and we all know that the SEC did, in previous investigations / lawsuits, did mention Solana by some bad names. And so it was really nice when we yesterday got word that the first Solana ETF was filed by Van Eck. Now, today there's two things I want to quickly say. First of all, Ju says, why is no one talking about the Grayscale Solana Trust? That is implying that right now, $1,000 per SOL is not so crazy, because that's what it's trading at in I guess, relative value. The numbers are very similar to when ETH was at $200, but the ETH implied $1,000 in 2020. Now, a counter argument is that, there's some more negative sides when it comes to Solana. In comparison to Ethereum, it's way smaller, less people interested in joining, there's less liquidity, less assets under management. And because these have locks, this is, by the way, one of the main reasons we keep seeing many outflows over at Grayscale for the Bitcoin Trust, because it only opened up pretty recently, where before, all people were speculating based on that net asset value. Hey, kind of funny, we actually had a positive day here for Grayscale, the first time in a long while. And again, still, BlackRock coming in with the $0 in and out. BlackRock, for some reason, has not been trading Bitcoin for the last 2 weeks, or they have been, but not buying, not selling. Here it was just $1.5 million. And theoretically speaking, it could be so they've got $500 million in, $500 million out. It's just netted in zero. Interesting. Maybe there was an announcement that I missed as to why. Anyway, as I was trying to say with Solana, I'll say two things about it. One, price, I think it's quite low for where it should be. And I guess part two is why that is the case. Because the second Solana ETF just also got filed. Solana ETF number 2 filed. Here we go again. 21 shares files an S1 for Solana ETF. And I kind of wonder how the price actually did. The price is down 5% today. And I don't think based on this news, unless it was like right there, we can for fun quickly check if that's the case. It was like 554. So yeah, indeed, if you were straight into buying, you could have actually made a juicy amount of profit there, going from 141 to 144 almost. On some exchanges, probably even some bigger number changes. Anyway, so price-wise, none of this has been too much of a crazy ordeal. I mean, the prices have not really been moving too much if we're talking about Solana and the ETFs, but that was mostly the most prominent point of the video here. It seems like we're seeing a paradigm shift. The first altcoin ETFs are starting to hop on in, and I'm guessing that it will only become more and more of a snowball effect. Now, the reason I decided to pull these two things together, though, is because I did find it quite funny how on the one end, we're making such tremendous progress with, obviously, since the SEC was against Solana and actually against Ethereum, but for both of those ETFs now being filed, that like we're making progress, even though the SEC is against everything. On the opposite side, though, if the SEC now on another angle is suing MetaMask, I'm not really sure exactly what the process is that we're making. I guess it more so is a little bit of a blame shift, where first the crypto products themselves were mostly at fault. Now it seems to mostly be going towards the institutions behind them. I'd like to counter against that argument, though, because Coinbase was also sued. Uniswap was sued in the past already. Matter of fact, they were sued quite recently. And actually, this year has been full of exchange-related lawsuits. And I'd say that, indeed, it's still a very hostile landscape, even though I'm also guessing there's been more resistance towards it. I'm starting to see with guys like Trump being around. I'm not for or against Trump, by the way. Some people in the comments say, you're a big pro. I don't really care. It's not my country, not my politics. You know, so to me, it's mostly just about what are the implications going to be. And all I know is Biden, as of this point, publicly has chosen the anti-crypto side for the most part, and Trump has chosen the pro-crypto side. For just taking that at face value, there's a good chance that there will also be some very big promises of pro-crypto things, which have already happened quite recently here. Whereas with Biden, logically, he kind of doubled down on the narrative he's already going for, which is make sure that stuff follows all the rules because crypto's a scam. Because again, you want to basically have polarizing sides, right? Anyway, I just personally think there's an interesting paradigm shift. And as we get closer and closer to an election, it's also going to play a bigger role into our crypto prices probably. But for right now, I'm just starting to see that this was going to get really massive as all these Solana ETF filings are going to come out over the next few days here most likely. And I really wonder how many more days until the Ethereum ETF gets approved, and how long afterwards will it be before Solana and all the others get approved? I don't think it'll take too long, but hey, that's just my thoughts. That's just me, and that's about it for this video.